I welcome you to another Tuesday teaching. This is Learn with Joes, an academy of knowledge economy. And my name is Josephine, your digital professor. I started last Tuesday with a general introduction of free will and determinism. Today, I'm going further on determinism for us to know what is called doctrine of determinism or the principle of causality. Let me encourage viewers to please subscribe to this my channel. As you subscribe, you get notifications of my videos, which I release twice a week. Tuesday like this for a core teaching, Fridays for what I call Friday tonic, when I discuss important issues, very interesting issues. So before I go on, let's join Learn with Joes. If you're just joining me newly, my name is Josephine. I'm your digital professor for Learn with Joes, an academy of knowledge economy. And like I said earlier on, Tuesday like this, I teach on a core course. Friday, I serve you what I call Friday tonic, talking or discussing important or trending issues. Today is a continuation on determinism, and I'm going to show you PowerPoint presentation like I always do, because I want you to understand anything I teach. If I keep on talking offhand, you will understand. I mean, some of you will miss out on some of the things I either pronounce or say. But when you look at the presentation like in bullet points, you'll be able to follow me better. So that's why I present this PowerPoint presentation. Determinism. In determinism, we have a kind of terminology. We call one soft determinism. We call another one hard determinism. The doctrine that all facts and exemplify natural laws. I think you get what I'm trying to say. Determinism as a noun means the doctrine that all facts and events exemplify natural laws, or the doctrine that all events, including human choices and decisions, have sufficient causes. Mainly, let's say it like this. Determinism is mainly used by philosophers for accounts of our human choices and actions that make them into effects of causal sequences. Sequences of such a kind as to raise a question about the freedom of the choices and actions. Determinism is so understood as a linear subject matter, assess and analyze, and indeed less than that. It is not the scientific and general or cosmic doctrine associated with Newtonian physics in the past, because some in the past associate it with Newtonian physics. Indeed, the term determinism can be used differently for the general doctrine as it typically is in the philosophy of science. As it is typically in the philosophy of science. Let's note some things here. That determinism, in a limited sense, whatever consequences, is not, and I underline that not, that's why I make it in capital, a claim or doctrine about freedom. Once you talk about determinism, you have deleted freedom or free will of choice from whatever you are talking about. It is not the claim that we are not free, nor does it controversially entail that. Many determinists, that's why initially I said they form into two categories. We have soft and we have hard. Many determinists suppose or say we are perfectly free. Compatibilism does not assert the truth of determinism, but only the consistency of this doctrine with an idea of freedom and moral responsibility. Do not be confused, because when we talk about compatibilism, it's a form of soft determinism. So it does not assert the truth of determinism, but only the consistency of this doctrine with an ideal of freedom and moral responsibility. So self-determinism and hard-determinism now, let's look at it. In contrast, what is called self-determinism? Self-determinism does take determinism to be accurate and take our actual to consist in no more than what is consistent with it. Voluntariness. What is called hard determinism takes determinism to be accurate, but takes freedom to consist in what is incompatible with it, and cannot exist with it. That is origination and voluntariness. Hard determinism cannot exist with origination and voluntariness. Some approaches in psychology see the source of determinism as being outside the individual, a position known as environmental determinism. For example, Bandura in 1961 showed that children with violent parents will in turn become violent parents through observation and imitation. That's the kind of byproducts of an abuse, because if parents are violent, it could cause a kind of emotional abuse for those children, and the consequences last with them. So that's what he's saying now. Others say it from the inside, i.e., in unconscious motivation or genetic determinism, biological determinism. An example of biological determinism is high IQ. High IQ has been related to the IGF-2R gene, which we call Choni et al. 1998. That means if your parents possess this gene, you can inherit from your parents and you have the high IQ. So let's look at behaviorists. Are firm believers in determinism. Behaviorists, they are firm believers in determinism. Their most forthright and articulate spokesman has been B.F. Skinner. Concepts like free will and motivation are dismissed as illusions that disguise the natural causes of human behavior. For Skinner, in his write-up in 1971, these causes lay in the environment, specifically in physical and psychological reinforcers and punishments. And because we are not aware of the environmental causes of our own behavior or other people's, we are tricked into believing in our ability to choose. In Skinner's scheme of things, the person who commits a crime has no real choice. I don't know how many people want to agree with Skinner, but that is the own perspective. That's the Skinner's scheme of things, saying the person who commits a crime has no real choice. She or he is propelled in this direction by environmental circumstances and a personal history, which makes breaking the law natural and inevitable. So, having been rewarded for following rules in the past, the individual does so in the future. That is, the home, actually, which is the cause of the unit family, is what Skinner is saying now, could be even a starting point for determinism for a criminal. Because if that person has criminal father or mother and see them in actions, it's already attuned to criminality. It wasn't taught about rule of law. It doesn't know anything about laws. If it's breaking law, it's natural. So that's what he's saying. So there's no moral evaluation or even mental calculation involved. All behavior is under stimulus control, according to Skinner. The other prominent supporters of determinism are those who adopt a biological perspective. However, for them, internal, not external, forces are the determining factor. According to social biology, evolution governs the behavior of a species and the genetic inheritance of each individual within it. For example, Bao in 1969 stated, a child has an innate, that is an inborn need to attach to one prominent attachment figure, which is monotropy. Neurological and hormonal processes within the body trigger personality traits like extraversion or neuroticism and the associated behavior. So there's no need for the concept of an autonomous human being. Ultimately, this view sees us as no more than biological machines. And even consciousness is interpreted as a level of arousal in the nervous system. However, a problem with determinism is that it is inconsistent with society's ideas of responsibility and self-control that form the basis of our moral and legal obligations as a rational human being. I said earlier, only two categories are exempted from this: the child and an insane, a mentally sick person. So another limitation concerns that psychologists cannot predict a person's behavior with 100% accuracy due to the complex interaction of variables which can influence behavior. There are many complex, multiple variables that can influence behavior, and that is why psychologists cannot predict 100% accuracy for a behavior. I want to thank you for joining me in today's teaching, and I'm going to continue on determinism next Tuesday. Please don't miss it. If you have any comments, kindly email me or make your comments on the description link. And I'd like to please implore you to subscribe. Just click that subscribe button down It's either when you are watching my video, if it's be up above, subscribe, click it, please, to subscribe to my channel so that you can get notifications of my next video. Have a wonderful week and remain blessed. And begin also to ponder on those questions, critical questions I asked earlier on. Are people responsible for their actions? Stay blessed.